How we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi here with some news for you. So, might not be news for you, but at least it's new news. Well, it's new news to the legacy media. At least they're finally catching up. And we got to give them props when they're finally catching up. I think most of us that live in Texas or live in South Texas especially probably already knew this. But hey, from the Washington Post. And the reason why I wanted to highlight this is because there's a correction in it too that's actually kind of shocking. Border arrests have soared to an all-time high, new CBP data shows. Customs and Border Patrol data shows. No joke! Most of us already knew that. But this is kind of what I wanted to highlight right here is this correction right here at the top. A previous version of this article incorrectly said that Border Patrol arrests along the Mexico border reached their highest level since 1986. Historical data shows fiscal year 2021's figure was the highest total ever recorded. The article has been corrected. Thanks for coming to the party, Washington Post. So let's read a little bit of this. Although most of us living in Texas already know all of this. U.S. authorities have detained more than 1.7 million migrants along the Mexico border during the 2021 fiscal year that ended in September. An arrest by the Border Patrol soared to the highest levels ever recorded, according to the unpublished U.S. Customs and Border Patrol protection data obtained by the Washington Post. Oh, so they actually did some investigating for this one. Very nice, guys. Illegal crossings began rising last year, but skyrocketed in the months after President Biden took office. Boy, I wonder why. Customs and Border Patrol arrests increased this past spring. Biden described the rise as consistent with historical seasonal norms, but the busiest months came during the sweltering heat of July and August, when more than 200,000 migrants were taken into custody. So yeah, no seasonal norms, buddy. Let's go, Brandon. There you go. There's a nice little chart that shows you how high this is peaked, showing that this is the highest in recorded history, going all the way back. Wow. That's insane. See, look at that. Look at those huge drops right there. Boy, that was during Obama, who was the deporter-in-chief. He deported more people than Bush, so that was during his years. And then look at that very nice, there's a little spike in there during Trump's. But yeah, there's a nice little, yep, there we go. During a confirmation hearing Tuesday for Chris Magnus, the Tucson police chief Biden had nominated to lead the CBP, Republican senators pressed him to characterize the surge as a crisis. Magnus called it a significant challenge, echoing the Biden administration preferred term, adding the numbers are very high. Customs and Border Patrol is expected to release the 2021 fiscal year data later this week. Because, yeah, they do this from fiscal year, so most of you probably know that what it is, but just in the case somebody that doesn't, fiscal year is October from October, right? They like to, that's the business year, as you like to call it, is a better way to understand it for people that don't think about all this stuff all the time. Border enforcement has become a major political liability for Biden, and the president's handling of immigration remains his worst polling issue. Wow, did they stop polling about Afghanistan? He promised on the campaign trail to make the United States more welcoming to immigrants, in contrast to former President Donald Trump, whose zero-tolerance family separation generated widespread outrage in 2018. Okay, like I said, this is from the Washington Post. Take the digs, whatever. So Biden basically completely and totally invited all of them in. During the transition, Biden said he wanted to move cautiously on immigration policy and avoid ending up with 2 million people on our border. Oh, instead it's 2 million people on this side of the border. Once in office, Biden quickly halted construction on the border wall, we know, ended the Remain in Mexico policy, what a shocker, reversed key asylum restrictions, and announced a 100-day pause on most deportations and enforcement by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. What did anyone think that was going to do? You are literally opening up the door, putting a big flashing sign on top of the border and saying, come on in, we're not going to deport you if you come in the first 100 days. Yeah, they're still not deporting, and they're coming in faster than ever. Biden officials initially blamed the previous administration's policies for the increase in border crossings. Said migration pressures intensified as a result of the pandemic's economic fallout. Many migrants have told reporters they opted to make the journey north at great cost and considerable danger, with the belief that Biden would allow them to stay. A tight U.S. labor market became another pull. Earlier this year, Biden directed Vice President Harris to address the root cause of migration from Central America's Northern Triangle, yada, yada, yada. She was supposed to go to the South America and figure out what the hell was going on. Hey, you opened the door. That's what's going on. But the strategy has had little to no measurable effect, and Harris has distanced herself from the border and immigration issues generally. So basically she went, this is a hot mess. I'm not solving this problem. I'm getting the hell out of here. Which, can you blame her? Well, you can. She's the vice president. Her boss put her in charge, and now she's not doing anything about it because they know that what has to be done is not something that wins them political points, except for with everybody in South Texas and all along the southern border. Which is why they lost, all that southern sections that they did here in South Texas to Trump by a lot, and why we also have a Republican mayor in a border town now, which has never happened before from my understanding. The latest CPP data indicates that administration's challenges extended far beyond Central America. Mexico is the single largest source of illegal migrants during the 2021 fiscal year by Border Patrol, but that leaves the Biden administration in an awkward position. It increasingly relies on Mexico to tighten enforcement and block caravan groups heading its way. Biden's officials are in negotiation with Mexico to comply with federal court in order to restart the Remain in Mexico policy, which requires asylum seekers to wait outside the U.S. territory while their cases are processed. Okay, that was a win we got in the Supreme Court. They're claiming negotiations. God only knows how long that's going to go. And I know Texas's attorney general is already filing different kinds of things to push back against that and wanting them to hurry up and speed up that process because they're not doing anything about it, even though the Supreme Court has ruled that they have to. They're completely ignoring the law and the court's edicts and orders. The second largest group was composed of migrants from outside of Mexico and Central America, who CPP categorizes other, including Haitians. We all saw that. Venezuelans. Oh, you mind keeping the socialism down there? Ecuadorians, Cubans, Brazilians, and migrants from dozens of other nations. That they accounted for 367,000 arrests. 367,000. How big is the population in your town? Is it that big? Because that's a whole town's worth of people, a whole large city's worth of people from places just besides Mexico. So 309,000 from Honduras, Guatemala was 279,000, and El Salvador was 96,000. Migrants to the U.S.-Mexico border is now truly global. Boy, that's scary. All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to skip a few of these things. The fiscal years between 2012 and 2020, border arrests averaged about 540,000. For the whole fiscal year, 540,000. We get more of that now in a month. The 2021 figure was more than 3 times that amount. Yeah. The extraordinary influx has produced a series of crises for the administrating. Unaccompanied minors crossing the Border Patrol, which now they're shipping out in the middle of the night to places all over the country, maybe to a town near you. Crossings by Central Americans, immigrants, advocates who backed Biden's candidacy have soured on his presidency lately, with several staging a virtual walkout last week during a meeting with White House policy advisors. Biden's proposal for a major immigration overhaul are stalled in Congress, and Republicans are planning to use his border record as a cudgel in next year's midterms. Why wouldn't you? It's a good talking point. It's a legitimate issue. The Biden administration has responded to criticism of the arrest numbers by noting that it continues to use the Title 42 public health policy to rapidly expel most adult border crossers to Mexico or their home countries. Yeah, right. Of the 1.7 million detained during the 2021 fiscal year, 61% were expelled under Title 42, the data shows. That's still a lot of people. All right, and yep, these explosions have led to significant increase in repeat crossings because if at first you don't try again. They know there's going to be spots where there aren't going to be Border Patrol agents. They're going to find holes. That's why they keep doing this. Because these are only the numbers that they've recorded. God only knows how many they've missed. You could not reach the numbers we've reached this year without border crossings. Oh, probably repeat border crossings. It's probably a fancy word for that kind of stuff. So there's a whole lot in here about all these people coming across. I wanted to kind of bring that up, and then I wanted to show you this right behind it, okay? This is an article from the San Diego Union Tribune, so obviously a paper out of San Diego. Fentanyl has taken over America's drug market. Where is it coming from, right? So to make a long story short on this one, let me show you this lovely little Twitter map here. Okay. All right. If you can't see this, I will explain it to you a little bit. So this is talking about the majority of the fentanyl. Fentanyl has taken over America's drug market. Where is it coming from? So that's the title of the article. The fentanyl pipeline, as you can tell by looking at the chart, is coming from China. The majority of the fentanyl released on the streets in the United States that your friends, your family may be addicted to or have died from an overdose of is coming from China. Okay? China. And guess where the majority of it's getting funneled through? Right through the Mexican border. If you look in here, right? So let's look at the descriptions of the top one. So we'll start at the top, right? China to Canada. Sometimes fentanyl from China is shipped through other less suspicious countries, such as Canada or Tonga, before being mailed to the U.S., okay? China to U.S. Americans buy pure fentanyl or precursor chemicals over the dark web from illicit suppliers in China, and it is mailed in small quantities, okay? That shit ain't getting through the freaking dark web like that. So here we go. Here's our main path. China to Mexico. Fentanyl or precursor chemicals are shipped to Mexico to be made into a finished product in drug cartel labs. It is heavily diluted with fillers and marketed as cocaine, heroin, or meth, or pressed into pills and marketed as oxycodone. Pure fentanyl can also be laced into illicit street drugs. Okay? So, from China to Mexico, through San Diego. Fentanyl ready for consumption is smuggled across the southwest border, primarily through San Diego region, then dispersed throughout the U.S. market. So they ship the raw ingredients to Mexico to the cartels. The cartels turn it into drugs that kill your family and friends, and then they ship it into the United States through this super open border we have because of Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon. So that was one of the things I really wanted to highlight on this, to kind of bring the border issue home to a few people that maybe don't live on the southern border and have to deal with these migrants and these violent criminals coming over our borders illegally and invading our country. Okay, you want to know why this matters to you who doesn't live on the border? To you who may be watching this video who doesn't live on the border? This chart right here is why. The majority of the fentanyl that's coming to our country, that's on our city streets, that's ruining people's lives, that's causing all this criminal activity, it's coming from Mexico, from China, straight through Mexico. And if that border wasn't so porous, what do you want to bet a lot less of that fentanyl would be coming through? What do you want to bet if we didn't have this insane migrant crisis going on right now, that there wouldn't be, the Border Patrol could actually be doing their damn job and trying to stop crap like this from coming over our border and into our city streets and killing our friends and neighbors. That's why this border crap is so important. That's why this border needs to be sealed, and CPB needs to be able to do their job, which is stopping drug traffickers and cartel people from bringing this garbage into our streets. They shouldn't be having to chase after women and children because Biden told them it was an open door policy. Come on in and we'll let you be free. It's not how this works. There's a process. I love immigration. I love legal immigration. Okay? But there's a process. And yes, some reforms need to be made. I agree the process should be a little bit easier. And I've dealt with the process. I had to work through a buddy of mine's forms so he could get his wife over here. Okay? I know how much money he spent on that because I knew how much he was willing to offer me just to help him fill out the forms because his English wasn't so hot. Okay? So I understand this immigration process. It sucks. We need to fix it. It needs to be reformed. But we can't reform squat without sealing this border and stopping all of these people that are bringing these nasty ass drugs into our country and killing our friends. Okay? So that's the border. That's fentanyl. I'm going to go over two other things real quick that I thought were important to talk about. This relating to the the first one I'm going to pull up is relating to the pharmaceutical companies. I want you to go to I'm going to leave all of these websites in the description below. I want you to go check out these articles, read them for yourself. Don't believe anything I'm telling you. Read it for yourself. So I want you to look at this link and I want you to go on here, right? Prescription politics. This is hilarious. More than 2/3 of Congress cashed a pharma campaign check in 2020. New stat analysis shows, okay? I'm not going to go into this too much, but look at that map. Holy crap. Look at all that money. Oh, look, some of it's going to Texas. Maybe we should investigate which one of our representatives is taking money from Big Pharma and pushing all this garbage on us right now. Just a thought. Here's another one. I thought this was a happy update, so it's a happy little update that we'll kind of finish. Well, maybe not happy, but at least a positive note before we finish all of this off. Courts aren't stopping vaccine mandates, but workers are. This is from the Federalist. October 20th, so just a few days ago, or just the other day, depending on when you're watching this. The U.S. judiciary system is doing a poor job of stopping, blocking, and delaying COVID-19 vaccine coercion, but workers who have toiled through the pandemic are using their voices to pressure companies into laying off of forcing a jab. A lot of this is going to go over some of the stuff that I've talked about in past videos. If you haven't seen it, go back and check that out. It's not just happening in the United States. This stuff is happening all over the world. Check out my past videos. I've got resources, I've got videos, I've got links to articles. It's not just us. This is happening everywhere. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer declined on Tuesday to block Maine Democrat Governor Jane Mills' vaccine mandate for healthcare and nursing home employees. All right, so this is just talking about how the courts have failed. Even small court wins, such as last week, federal court judged the healthcare employees consider religious exemptions. Excuse me, sorry about that. Judge in Texas ruled that American Airlines, and when another judge in Texas ruled that American Airlines couldn't put their employees on waiting for exemptions on unpaid leave or overshadowed by other judiciary decisions, reinforcing the medical coercion in areas as privately as family visitation rights. Wow. So the court's lack of vigor, reinforcing purple results, has resulted in firing of many people, but coworkers are determined to fight back. Employees all across the nation have protested, and some of their efforts are being rewarded. While Delta Airlines continues to sell the lie, some conservatives are buying it, that they aren't enforcing a mandate even though they continue to charge unvaccinated workers $200 monthly. Southwest Airlines walked back its pledge to begin putting workers who applied for a vaccine exemption on unpaid leave in December after the company suffered thousands of flight cancellations that damaged the U.S. domestic travel market for days. How was that weather outage you guys experienced? Southwest and Southwest Pilots Association categorically denied that the thousands of flight cancellations, delays, and general staffing problems, yada, 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 yeah, they blamed it on the weather. Whatever. Don't give me that BS. It's not complete victory for Southwest pilots, but it does buy workers who are hopefully waiting for approved medical or religious the opportunity to keep their jobs a little longer. Hey, hold the line. Take every little win we can get. The type of resistance is growing and spreading from coast to coast. The San Francisco Department of Public Health forced an In-N-Out location in Fisherman's Wharf to temporarily shut down after the restaurant refused to check the vaccination status. I love this story. This makes me want to eat In-N-Out Burger, and I don't even like In-N-Out Burger. But I'm going to eat In-N-Out Burger next chance I get because of this. We refuse to begin the vaccination. We refuse to become the vaccination police for any government. In-N-Out Chief Legal and Business Advisor Officer Arnie Wensinger told Newsweek. We fiercely disagree with any government dictate that forces a private company to discriminate against customers who choose to patronize their businesses. This is a clear government overreach. Seattle police officers, I like this one too, this is another good one. Seattle and police officers and firefighters also caused a stir on Tuesday when they served food to the homeless community and returned their boots to City Hall after being fired for refusing to get the poke. So you can see this, see if I can play the video on here. Look at that. Kids, their family, probably their wives. Look at all those guys. Out there doing what even the city can't or won't. These are good people in our community, man. These are the backbones of our community. This was a good video, too. If you haven't seen this, we're going to play a little bit of this, too. See them up there walking up with their boots. All going in. No holds barred, boys and girls. That guy's even got him in a baby carriage. I wonder if his baby's in there with him. He looks a little old for a baby. Who knows? Maybe she didn't want to carry him all the way up there like that. They joined the ranks of an unknown, I've heard it's over half the police force, if not at least half. They joined the ranks of an unknown number of Chicago police officers who lost their paychecks after they refused to comply with Mayor Lori Lightfoot's vaccine mandate. This absence comes during another Windy City violent crime spree. And boys and girls, let them have it. They have done this to themselves. I feel no pity for Lori Lightfoot and Chicago. Get out of these big cities. These places are going down. Maybe in 5 or 10 years we can go back in and straighten them back out. But right now, just get out. Shore up the red states, make them redder than ever, and let's fix all of this. All right? So I wanted to end on a positive note. I really think that is a positive story. There's a lot of good rebellion out there happening, a lot of good, peaceful civil disobedience, which is exactly what we need. Peaceful civil disobedience. Hold the line. Do not comply. This is your body. These are your rights. This is your autonomy. All right? Hold the line. We will get through this if we stand together. This is Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I just wanted, if you want to help support the channel, please go check out our Spring Creator store, which got some t-shirts on it. It's got our Fauci shirt, Duplicitous Dwarf, the logo for the channel, and of course, everybody's new favorite phrase, "Let's go, Brandon!" So I'll leave the description down in the, I'll leave the link down in the description if you guys want to check it out. Thanks, guys.